And for some fun, we're gonna show off old HRG Trekkie uh, from the good old days. So talking points for that match. Yeah, there was a pause at the start of this particular game, so you'll see some render errors. Be more careful when you're holding last. This is just advice for you. Be more careful when you're holding last, because you're wandering into sight lines that you shouldn't be wandering into. Try and avoid going into areas that'll flank you a bunch. Try not to go into choke when you fight on mid, because you will never get out of there. And the best way to encourage your team to win, or to help them to win, is to put out as many heals as humanly possible. And you're just not going to be able to do that in the event that you're standing in choke, healing just your demo who isn't doing anything anyways, because he's in choke too. So I don't mean to sound biased, but like that the wiggle walk and everything, the circular walk is really popular. I know particularly in Highlander, but you got to be a lot more careful with it in sixes, because like every time you peaked those, you ended up inadvertently peaking main. I was for sure thinking just about the fact that you would be headshot soon, or 150 body shotted, and that would be bad. So don't do it. Try to avoid Gray Bridge. That's a universal thing. Just constantly be thinking of how could I be flanked, and where should I stand and go so as to avoid being flanked. If you go trash, you can only fight in front of you and behind you and whatever might come over the spire. But things jumping over the spire are pretty rare, so you're essentially reducing your flanks to 2 instead of like 5 from the Gray Bridge. And also just team stuff. I saw a lot of splitting up, and it was like people weren't really sure how to focus fire or stay in a group. But that's partly because like half your team on mid was just hanging back. On lasts, you can't have 3 people on that right side. That's how they do it in Europe. But ultimately, all that you're doing against a wise team is they send their pocket in, shoot those 2 people, forcing you to flash them, thus decreasing your Uber. They've then, as a result, been given a better Uber. If they make you flash enough times, then their Uber will last longer, because they probably have to pop sooner than you do. But it's a way of elongating their Uber and also pushing people out of position. Whereas if everyone were on the other side, or in other places, their Uber pops your Uber, you force them down onto the ground, you maintain height advantage over that side of the map, and life is good, as far as you're concerned as a medic. And so yeah, I think I go over most everything else, in the demo as far as like little mistakes here and there. You've got the opening bit down, the heal order is fine, your dodging could use a little work in some cases, but some of it comes down to comms. It's like soldiers so and so such place, and to be a little bit more careful. So some of it could be your team's fault as well. So I'm not exclusively criticizing you there. But yeah, other than that, I hope you found this demo review to be helpful. Feel free to ask for more reviews. And also, my apologies about my slow upload. I'll have to split this into parts. But till next time.